Welcome to Cheevly. In this tutorial, I'll guide you through the setup process and show you some of the key features. Let's get started. Before we begin, you'll need an API key from OpenAI. You can click the link to sign up for a key. Once you have it, add it to this field and then press Add. You should then be able to expand the services and see the new OpenAI channel. Here, you'll find a list of different services offered by OpenAI. But before we delve into these, let's cover some of the basics. Let's start with the home channel. So Cheevly is a chat-based app where you can talk with AI and other services. Each channel has its own language model, which you can find in the drop-down menu at the top right corner. Whatever you type in this channel will use the language model you've chosen. So you can edit messages by simply left-clicking on them. Likewise, to delete a message, right-click on it. Lastly, if you hover over the message icon, you'll see an option to regenerate, which reruns it to get a new response. Let's make the AI's personality a bit more engaging. To do this, click on the gear icon at the top right corner. You'll see various sections. The first is Description, which allows you to note the purpose of this channel, but you can leave it blank for now. The instructions are more significant as it allows you to dictate how you want the AI to react. For instance, let's set it to always respond with a rhyme. This would be even more lively with voice responses. You'll see two remaining fields with lightning bolt icons next to them. These are known as events, which let you set actions to occur under specific conditions. The message sent event is activated whenever you send a message to this channel, and the channel response event is activated whenever this channel replies to your message. So, to enable voice interaction, we need to drag a voice channel to this channel response event. Let's return to OpenAI now. You'll see several options with a speaker icon next to them. These are text-to-speech services. Click on one of them and type a message.
Hello there. Hello there.
You'll notice that it generates and plays a voice clip based on the text you entered. So each channel has its own purpose or functionality, and all of it is driven through chat. Let's go back to the home channel so that we can add the voice. Click Edit, then drag a voice into the channel response event. This means that when the channel is ready to respond, it will first send the message to the voice channel. Let's try it out.
Bake at 350, that's the heat, for 25 minutes till it's a treat. Golden brown and bubbly too. Then it's ready just for you.
Now if we jump over to the Onyx channel, which is the voice we used, you'll see both the message and voice clip that was generated for it.
Bake at 350, that's the heat, for 25 minutes.
So to summarize, events are useful if you want certain behaviors to always be triggered, like voice. You probably notice the Add Training button at the top of the channel, so let's talk about how this works. Similar to how we used instructions, we can use training to provide sample messages of how we want the channel to behave. Let's start with a clean slate by creating a new channel. You can right-click channels at the top left to open a menu, then click New, and then finally click Channel. We can rename channels by clicking them again. We'll call this one Art. Okay, so training. Most channels in Cheevly are initially set up with some training, which also helps illustrate how you can use the channel. For example, let's take a look at DALL-E, which is OpenAI's text-to-image service. You'll notice a series of messages here at the top. These messages are samples the AI uses to help condition it on how to respond. So, for instance, if you say, draw a cat, then it will just send the word cat, which is all DALL-E needs. This training is a bit overly simple, but we can make it more interesting. Alright, so rather than chat with this channel directly, we're going to add it to our new art channel. We're not going to drag it to an event, but instead into the blank space below the events. This adds it as an active participant in the channel, which means the channel will send messages to Dolly based on how we train it. When you drag it, you'll see a pop-up here asking if you want to auto-train it. We'll say yes, which basically copies the training messages over to this channel. You'll see similar messages at the top, except the appearance is slightly different since they'll be sent to the Dolly channel. We'll edit some of these messages to condition it to make things quite a bit more colorful. It's also helpful to add some instructions just to be more clear about our intent. So now when we send messages, the AI uses the training samples and instructions to send a modified message to the Dolly channel. We've trained this channel to produce colorful artwork automatically without our message having to specify that. Now let's try training a new channel from scratch. First, let's create the channel. We'll just call it Chat for now. We'll click Add Training and add a basic chat sample. Now this might seem a bit weird, but we're going to drag the chat channel into the training as a response. In other words, we want this chat channel to respond to us by default. Then we'll add another training sample where we ask it to draw something, and we'll drag in the art channel. Notice it automatically added the art channel as a participant in the settings, since we're training with it. Now we've taught this channel to do two different things. It can both chat with us or automatically send messages to the art channel, and the art channel will convert our request into something colorful for Dolly before returning the final image to us in this channel. While we're at it, you can see images you've created here under the Dolly channel. So each of these images are also channels, which means you can chat with them or even drag them into channels as participants. But let's try chatting with this image, which automatically uses vision to respond to our question. Let's take a detour now on the subject of AI vision while exploring some of Cheevly's built-in channels. If we expand the computer channel, we can see various concepts representing our local desktop. I'm using two monitors, so when I expand displays, I can see Display 1 and Display 2. Let's try asking the display what it sees. Well, okay, yeah, it's describing itself, Cheevly, in quite a few words. Now let's ask it to take a screenshot. As you can imagine, we could potentially use this channel for all sorts of purposes when we need AI to interpret what's happening on our screen. Let's explore some more. Mouse and keyboard. This should be fun. Just playing around to see what it can do. Oh, and for the record, you can press the pause break key on your keyboard to force Cheevly to stop, just in case you've given it just a bit too much control over your computer. And these are various applications running on my computer. All right, let's close some of this stuff to make it a bit more tidy, and then we'll try creating a new channel to try some basic automation. We'll try having it type things into Notepad, so we'll call it writing. Okay, so let's edit this channel and add a training message. Hypothetically, if I were to say something like, write a poem about cats. The first step is that I need to drag in Notepad, because I need to bring the window to the front of the screen. There we go. Here's the Notepad window actually. I'll just leave this in the background for now. Next, I'll want the keyboard to type, so I'll drag that in here next. And I'll have it type in a poem about cats. Okay, that should do it. But I wanted to create a rap about dogs instead. The AI should have no problem adapting accordingly. And there we go. Now I have a channel which automatically types things into Notepad when it receives a message. Writing to text files can be super useful, and we can do that in a more direct way. If I right-click channels, I can add a text file instead of a channel. We'll call the file Memories. This text box at the top is the content of the file, which is empty for now, but I'm going to just list a couple facts to get it started. We'll go back to the original home channel and train it to use this text file as a way to store and recall facts about myself. So I'm going to edit the channel, add a training message, and I'll start by mentioning one of the facts. Now I'll drag in the Memories file and ask it to record that fact. This will condition the channel to store facts that I mention. Now I'll condition it to look up facts. Okay, that should do it. Now let's test it out.
Mexican.
Perfect. Let's make sure that got recorded. Yep, there it is. So this is a really neat way to store facts and recall them later, which is typically a limitation of language models like GPT. This concludes Part 1 of Getting Started with Cheevly. In Part 2, we'll dive into some more advanced topics and use cases. See you again soon.